Sì?
Lo so che non c'è perché...
Ah, mi sono proprio scolato.
Devi entrare, Gaia, dove sei importante che non ho capito. Mamma?
Sì, alla finestra che fa il bosco.
Diana, aiuti papà a chiudere la finestra,
Perché?
per favore, così non si batte. Diana, chiudi per bene, dai. Non vi dici le cose, poi vi contraddire sempre.
Sento che la manda aperta e poi aperta e disaperta nel chat. È quello.
Sì, non è stanca oggi, eh?
No, non sento.
No, sbaglio?
No.
Vabbè, allora così. Gaia, ma... Scusa, perché mi devi tirare? Io non l'ho spinta, Diana, ok? Non mi dire queste cose di mamma tua, mamma non l'ha spinta. Lei mi teneva la mano e mi tirava. Tu non mi puoi tirare dove dici tu, mamma c'ha da fare, se devi fare una cosa la devi fare e basta. D'accordo, Gaia?
Vado.
Mi ritornate a prendere così usciamo al volo.
Oh, cicche. Oh, una che.
Vabbè. Amore, lo possiamo fare quando andiamo a casa, così non lo possiamo fare.
La vuoi capire io?
No, ma arrivato al volo.
Perché io devo uscire, cioè prima delle 1, prima che inizia la partita.
Non lo devo vedere. Che c'è, Diana? Che cosa stai iniziando tu adesso?
La partita. Cacche.
Sì, lo so, però quelle mamma ancora non l'hanno messa.
No, perché io te l'avevo tutte.
Non è stato nell'armadio, modo. Sono nell'armadio di mamma.
Te l'avevo tutte da dentro.
Di vergogna. Ma visto che dobbiamo uscire a buona, come facciamo la foto sul gioco, vai a fare così almeno questa cosa stai tranquilla, non ti succede niente, ok amore?
C'ho fame.
Amore?
C'ho fame.
Non si fa.
Ah, poi perché non ho fatto colazione proprio qui.
Ma perché no? Non mi hai detto che dopo portare le colazioni io devo fare?
No, alla fine non ho fatto.
No, non ho fatto così. Vabbè, che fai? Rimani a casa? Ma se pure papà deve uscire, già. Dai, devi solo fare pipì, ma non ti ho chiesto la luna, amore. Vabbè, allora che fai? Guarda Gaia, tu ti devi sforzare, io sono stufa di questi giorni. Sono veramente stufa. O ti dai una calmata o io comincio a prendere un cancello e ti riempio del lavoro.
No.
Tu puoi perdere quanto ti pare, ma almeno sono sicura che stai bene. Perché io sono
Ma
una
un
stufa.
cancello dentro la nostra casa.
Sì, il cancelletto dei bambini.
E anche per i grandi.
Così stai rinchiusa là dentro.
Da collegio.
Poi come ti pare? Però almeno sono sicura che lì sta tranquillo. Certo, tranquillo. Nella teoria non si dovrebbe mettere il pericolo.
È mio!
Se questa 20 mesi è così, pensa a 3 anni.
È mio!
Se lancia
Papà,
davanti.
è mio! E mamma!
Diana, che facciamo? Andiamo, sì o no? Dai!
Dai!
Non sei stanca?
Dai! Dai!
Oh ragazzi, a me mi avete stufato. Mi avete stufato.
Non avevo paura.
No, sono stufa, basta, non voglio sentire che sempre come di nuovo. Andiamo, comportati bene, vieni a fare pipì che usciamo, forza! Oh, vado via da sola? E allora aspetta! Oh, no, non mi prendo il filo. Basta, vai a fare pipì che usciamo, mi stanno. Forza. Vai. Già, allora io ascolto. E allora vai, corri e fai
Non gli sta appresso, se non vuoi lascialo, lascialo, se vuoi piangi lascialo. Perché questo continua a fare così, come gli pare. Se sei stanca rimani a casa. Cazzo.
vediamo.
Sì. Sì, c'è un po' la scuola.
Ah, ok, no, perché era se vuole prendere solo vediamo che la lasciamo perché.
Se voglio rimanere, fallo rimanere. Io ti aspetto.
Ok. Lala, se vuoi rimanere a casa puoi stare a casa con papà, se no vieni con me. Vieni con me? Ok, vieni con me. Ho detto che vieni con me.
Ok.
his reputation in sporting and with the press as well. He said everyone in the media loves Ruben Amorim because of the way he just puts his heart on his sleeve. But he said he's a clever guy. He doesn't walk into a press room and just comes out with anything. He actually really thinks about what he's going to say and the point that he wants to put across. So the Ruben Amorim that exists in sporting is very different in a way to the one that we're seeing now. And what was ironic was that this gentleman, Alex, was talking. We were all having this long chat about Ruben Amorim, and then you take out your phone and you're like, hang on a minute, they're losing 2-0 to Grimsby right now.
For me, I remember I covered the game, Sporting's one of their last games against Manchester City.
Yeah, we did it together, didn't we? Yeah.
And people were saying at the time, fantastic, his press conferences are going to be really good, very personable, blah, blah. I don't think, Bresh, he's ever had a honeymoon period at United. He's arrived at United, the results...
He's arrived in the midst of a storm, hasn't he?
Exactly
really,
that. A club that are in transition at the moment, and he's never had chance to get comfortable at that football club. And will he get the chance? Who knows?
My question mark is he... He's had, what, nearly 9 months in the seat now. Is he improving the players? I mean, look at the players that are leaving. Someone like Kobbie Mainoo, he should not be wanting to leave Manchester United. He wants to go somewhere on loan. Is that a reflection on the fact that Ruben Amorim is not getting the best out of the young players in the squad that he has?
Well, you've also got individuals like Rashford as well. I mean, if you're fantastic at getting players on side, one of the early ones you need to inspire again would probably be Rashford, because whether you like it or not, Rashford at the age he's at and his ability, he's got the ability to still hit 20 goals a season in a Manchester United shirt. I don't think anybody else has at United.
Garnacho's here today.
And Garnacho, exactly. Was the next thing I was about to say. So someone like Garnacho, someone as young as him, how he couldn't get the best out of him either. Are we seeing something? Are we seeing a manager who maybe reached a very high level in a very different type of league, and perhaps this job was a bit too big for him? Is that unfair to say?
I wouldn't say the job's too big for him. What I would say is, at this moment in time, it's not looking a good fit. Now, as you rightly say, when you're on the ascendancy and things are going really well, like they did in Sporting, and he feels at home there and all that type of thing, it's fine. The pressure cooker of the Premier League is quite incredible. I mean, this is how bizarre it is. We're sat in a stadium now that was managed by Jose Mourinho, and when you talk about Jose Mourinho now, people talk about, oh, he's a dinosaur in football, he's this, he's that. This is one of the best managers that's ever graced the Premier League in many ways, Jose. So if you could write Mourinho off, Amorim's probably in good company as well. You know, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, look, Manchester United, of course, are up against Burnley later today. It's turning into, as you know, we said right at the top there, Stuart, it's not an exaggeration to say that it's a must-win game so early in the season, particularly after the debacle of midweek, crashing out of the Carabao Cup on penalties against Grimsby Town after having to come back from 2 goals down. Ruben Amorim has made some, well, there's always a manager's notes in the matchday programme. He's gone in very short and sweet today, Ruben Amorim. This is what he's saying in the programme notes. Good afternoon and welcome back to Old Trafford. Today, as we welcome Scott Parker and his Burnley side, we need to give a response after Wednesday night's cup fixture. I can only say to our supporters that I am sorry. The better team on the night won the game, and we got what we deserved. Everyone has to do better. Today we have to show intensity from the start. We need to go out onto the pitch and show how we are capable of playing, because the only way we fix this is by winning games. So as I say, short and sweet. Stuart Pearce, that's all he can really say. That game is going to be an interesting watch and an interesting listen as well. And Adrian Durham will be keeping you across that, of course, on Game Day Live after us here on Talk Sport. We're, of course, though, here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Fulham is our 12:30 kickoff on Game Day, exclusive on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Here for it, you can book now at enterprise.co.uk, and we're building up to kick off next.
Game Day exclusive on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it. Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
Summer fashion announcement. Stripes are in, darling. Oh, and also florals. Groundbreaking, we know. Pastels and block colors too. Basically, you choose. From breathable floral duvet sets to modular wardrobes and stripy blockout blinds, IKEA has hundreds of new summer products to let summer in. Fabulous. Visit IKEA online or in store. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in as little as 20 minutes. You've finally found that perfect parking spot and you're ready to start work. But wait, you need a replacement part that's not in your van. Don't sweat it and don't move the van. Get moving on your job and we'll sprint over with exactly what you need before you can say, where's my spirit level? Screwfix Sprint delivers in as little as 20 minutes. Only $4.99 and only on the app. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
You've reached the final level. The Spicy McNuggets side mission. Maximum flavour, crispy crunch, and a spicy dip with a kick. Are you ready? Spicy McNuggets, for a limited time only. Until the 9th of September 25. Please apply to delivery. Participation and price may vary. Subject to availability. Serving charges apply. Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating. Amazing views on huge screens. And we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then his game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Play in a different league with Betfair. Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples, and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boosts, T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Leeds United versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Talk Sport.
At 10 minutes past midday, a quick roundup of today's transfer news. Nick Voltemade is now a Newcastle player. He signed from Stuttgart for a club record £69 million, but he's not been registered in time to play against Leeds today. Bayern have agreed a loan for Nicholas Jackson with Chelsea for an initial £13 million fee. The German Giants also have an option to buy for another £50 million. Christopher Nkunku has signed a 5-year deal at AC Milan in a deal totalling £35 million, and Nottingham Forest have signed defender Nicola Savona from Juventus. The 22-year-olds agreed a 5-year deal at the City Ground.
With Virgin Media M125 broadband, go full throttle. That's powerful. Powerful like an elephant cruising on a truck through the bright lights of Bangkok. Plus, switching is easy. We'll handle everything for you. Yeah, that's broadband the Virgin Media way. Visit virginmedia.com. New customers only. Virgin Fibre areas. Restrictions and credit checks apply. No setup fee. Online only. Ends 24th of September. Terms apply.
The football animal is alive. Game day exclusive on TalkSport.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to Game Day on TalkSport. I'm Reshmin Chowdhury, and we are about 19 minutes away from kick-off here at Stamford Bridge. It's our 12:30 live and exclusive Premier League match here as Chelsea take on Fulham in the West London derby. Let's get a recap of the lineups, all thanks to Betfair. Here's our commentator, Sam Matchface.
Well, both teams are unchanged from their respective previous engagements in the Premier League. A 1-1 draw with Manchester United for Fulham and Chelsea's 5-1 thrashing Last Friday night live on TalkSport away at West Ham United. So Chelsea have Sanchez in goal. It's Gusto, Chalobah, Tosin and Cucurella as the back four. Caicedo and Fernandes as the two holding midfield players. With Esteban, João Pedro and Neto behind Liam Delap in attack. For Fulham, although they are unchanged, it does look as if they're going to play like this today because we've been watching them warm up. Leno is the goalkeeper. Castagna at right back. Tete Anderson and Bassi will play at left back. With Lukic and Berger as the holding midfield players, Iwobi, King and Sessegnon behind Rodrigo Muniz in attack. So just a slight tweak in configuration, and we saw that a couple of times last week during the game against Manchester United as well. We're underway in around about 15 and a bit minutes.
15, 17, 18 minutes time, I think. Right, those lines were brought to you by Betfair. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. It was a few minutes between friends. Right, we've been discussing, haven't we, at the top of the show, Chelsea. What a hive of activity it always is for Chelsea and their fans. All the news coming in and out here. Every single transfer window. Not so for Fulham, it seems. We're going to be discussing that and all things Fulham with our guest here at Stamford Bridge. Jack Kelly is a journalist covering Fulham today. Jack, brilliant to have you with us, and so much I feel to discuss as well. We're looking at Fulham side, 2 games in, 2 goals, 2 late equalisers. It's not necessarily the best of starts against Brighton and United, but then we're now looking at the transfer window, and it is so very quiet. That's not good news for Fulham fans.
It's been very, very quiet. I mean, we were speaking in May and June and July, and now we're into August, and there's still no
no one really coming in.
No one coming in apart from a goalkeeper, outfielder option coming through.
Benjamin Lecomte, is it, from Montpellier?
Yeah, and we've got a couple of days left of the window, and there are some rumours circulating around certain wingers. Marco Silva made it very, very clear in his press conference yesterday. We want 3 players in, 2 wingers and a midfielder, and it's about doing that now. It's about getting those deals over the line. Fulham have a track record of doing business late on deadline day, and not that Marco Silva enjoys that. But there is still time, and that means deals can still be done.
How late is late that the fans are going to, be accustomed to? Because we're talking, there's just a couple of days until this window closes. So there are a few things in motion, aren't they? Roma, for example, have they been in talks with Fulham?
I think it's AC Milan.
AC Milan, is it, with Samuel
Chukwueze,
yes.
And of course, Pereira leaving the club yesterday, I think was always going to be on the cards this summer.
Is that a surprise though?
I think it's not a surprise. I think Josh King coming through, we're going to see today out on the pitch as to why he is the most exciting young player in the Premier League, in my opinion. Maybe Esteban might have something to say about that. But and then obviously Smith Rowe, the number 10 option, the record signing last summer. But there's feeling that from the fans that we haven't done the business that we should have. We should have kicked on from last season, finishing 11th, but also getting the points tally record, which is very, very encouraging. But also, you've got to kick on from that. You can't stand still, as Marco Silva said, week after week. And he's making his voice clear into what he wants, and he wants signings.
Raheem Sterling and Reece Nelson. Let's talk about Raheem Sterling first. What is the likelihood of that one happening?
It's one of those ones where if all else fails, it'll be Raheem Sterling, or it could be Raheem Sterling. Obviously, the wage is a huge issue and a sticking point to the deal, and I think he's waiting around to see whether that happens. But he's not training with Chelsea at the moment. He's training away from the first team I hear. So, and then I just think with the rumours that are circulating right now, I don't think that's going to happen unless there's a huge stumbling block in the 2 that have been linked with them.
Okay, and Reece Nelson? Are we still looking at Reece Nelson?
I think again it's that same situation, but Palace are close, I think.
Okay. What about Marco Silva then? Because we're looking at a manager who has really worked wonders at this club. He's brought stability to a side that, were perennial kind of yo-yoers between the Championship and the Premier League. He's done this over a number of years. He's now into the final year of his contract. And you're looking at a very forlorn figure in these press conferences at the moment. A man who is quite frustrated. A man who, you sort of wonder how much more can he sort of keep conjuring up this magic and keeping Fulham in a really strong position, mid-table position, slightly even going for a cup or for a European position. How much longer do you think he can do that unless the right players come in?
Yeah, he's in the last year of his contract, which is a major cause for concern because on what evidence is there proof that he's going to sign a new contract based off the business that we've done this summer? There's probably no proof whatsoever. In order to keep Marco Silva happy and to sign a new contract, you've got to add to the squad that he wants. Obviously, he wants additions to help the team in the Premier League. We're in a very competitive Premier League landscape right now where every team just seems to be absolutely unbelievable. Even the three that have come up have already won their first game. Fulham haven't done that yet. That's not a bad thing. We've got 2 good points coming from behind.
Yeah.
But with no signings yet, with a couple of days to go, it does feel like Fulham will drop off. But that's just looking at it on paper. We can very much kick on, but signings would help us kick on.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you have this same squad that have done the job, but they are year on year getting a year older, basically.
You mentioned earlier Josh King, you know, Fulham have bought, and I know 1 or 2 people that work in the academy there, Fulham have bought some decent players, good players, Sessegnon and Pat Roberts in time. How good's Josh King in comparison to some of these?
The best for me. Absolutely 100%. I mean, we're at Stamford Bridge right now. We're watching Josh King, 18 years old, about to play in the number 10 position over Emil Smith-Rowe, who was signed from Arsenal last season for 24-ish million. We had Fabio Carvalho come through in the Championship. He was very impressive, but that was the Championship. This is Premier League, and he started against Manchester United, and he's 18 years old, and it's not going to be long until we wait for his first goal. That first goal is coming, and I think if he gets that first goal, everyone will know about Josh King.
It's a bit like what Cristiano said once. Cristiano Ronaldo said, when the goals come like ketchup. He said that about the Champions League goals. Maybe that's what we're going to see with Josh King. I just want to ask you about Marco Silva. You said that we don't know whether he's going to sign a new contract or not. He was sort of in that mix, wasn't he, for the Spurs job? Then everyone is looking at him now because he was seen as a bit of a mercenary, wasn't he, years ago? But then he's really cemented his reputation here. Do you think there's some of that that's sort of filtering down onto him in terms of his motivation as well? I mean, how far can he take Fulham? Let's say the signings do come in.
Yeah.
What is the motivation for this club and Marco Silva? Are they looking to fight for Europe? Are they looking to really go far in the cup competitions? What are the ambitions this season, and for Marco in particular himself?
You look at the Carabao Cup we won the other night against Bristol City, and with Cambridge at home in the next round, we're 2 games away from a quarter-final. And 2 years ago we got into the semi-final, and the cups we take incredibly seriously. Europe, we were in the hunt for Europe last season. We probably should have got into Europe with the amount of points that we dropped from winning positions. And Marco Silva's an incredibly ambitious guy, and if Fulham and the board don't give him that ambition reflected in transfers, that ambition will be taken elsewhere, whether that be, he mentioned in the summer going back to Portugal, seems like an inevitability in his career at some point, or he said that he would like to go back to Portugal at some point.
Nicer, isn't it?
I suppose it is. I was out in Portugal this summer for the pre-season, and it was pretty hot. But yeah, he's an ambitious guy, and hopefully that ambition can be come to fruition with Fulham.
We hope so as well, and we're really looking forward to this one today. Can they just very quickly win 2 consecutive games at Stamford Bridge? Do you think?
Let's hope so, because those fans over there, they deserve a big 3 points. And hopefully we can get at least a point and remain unbeaten into the international break.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Jack Kelly. Brilliant to have you with us. They're giving us the inside track on everything Fulham, as we say, has been such a quiet summer. But what can Marco Silva and his team produce today? It's a huge game here at Stamford Bridge. This is Game Day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Leeds United and Newcastle United live today. Search Now Sports. Over on TalkSport 2, don't forget at 12:30, not long to go for them, it's Middlesbrough against Sheffield United in the Championship. Here on TalkSport, of course, we are at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea against Fulham. This is a West London derby, and kick-off is next.
Game Day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now, like Leeds United versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports 18+, stream via internet, terms apply. Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
Summer fashion announcement. Stripes are in, darling. Oh, and also florals. Groundbreaking, we know. Pastels and block colors too. Basically, you choose. From breathable floral to base sets, to modular wardrobes and stripy block-out blinds, IKEA has hundreds of new summer products to let summer in. Fabulous! Visit IKEA online or in store. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone and stadium-style seating. Amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles a burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Zone, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair. Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples, and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boosts, T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gamblerware.org.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in as little as 20 minutes. You've finally found that perfect parking spot and you're ready to start work. But wait, you need a replacement part that's not in your van. Don't sweat it and don't move the van. Get moving on your job and we'll sprint over with exactly what you need before you can say, where's my spirit level? Screwfix Sprint delivers in as little as 20 minutes. Only $4.99 and only on the app. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
The road stretches before you, but there's trouble ahead. Stationary cars. You're faced with the McDonald's side mission. Do you A, join the evergreen queue, or B, take the next exit and treat yourself to a glorious Mackey's?
Detouring to McDonald's.
Start your side mission today.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree's playing on the lawn.
We're playing real life football.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes, excludes Northern Ireland.
Game day exclusive on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Ignition Football. Game day exclusive on Talk Sport.
You're listening to Game Day Exclusive live on TalkSport. Our Premier League kickoff is upon us very shortly. It's Chelsea against Fulham. Brilliant atmosphere here in West London at the last of the summer games before we head into the international break and head into September. We were talking about Chelsea's young guns earlier, one of them being Willian Estevao. He's already looking like a serious talent, isn't he? He was the youngest player to get a Premier League assist against West Ham, 18 years and 120 days old. He's now obviously 8 days older than that. Stuart Pearce, how exciting is he in terms of the prospects for Chelsea going forward?
Well, we spoke earlier about Josh King being in the starting lineup at 18 years old. We've got a young man here lining up for Chelsea. And listen, you've got the world at your feet in the Premier League at the age that he's at. He's some talent and fits in nicely with Chelsea's recruitment policy. Years ahead of him, an improvement ahead of him. So I think we'll find a little bit more about him today. The more games he plays, the more experience you gather at that age.
Absolutely right. Well, look, you can hear the atmosphere, the music at Chelsea. We know where we are. Well, look, it is a lovely summer's day, but Chelsea was done here on Boxing Day last season. Scrooge turned up disguised as Fulham, and they got their first win at the Bridge in 45 years that day. It was a 2-1 victory, and that is, in fact, the last time an away team has won here at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. No one has done it in 2025 so far. If that doesn't set us up nicely for a full circle moment, I don't know what will. Now, Chelsea have won each of their 5 Premier League games, kicking off at 12:30 on a Saturday, so the early morning seemed to suit them. Fulham have lost each of their last 4 Premier League games that are kicked off at the same time without scoring a single goal. Oof, I wonder how it's going to pan out today. We always love a London derby, and it's almost upon us, so I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, Stuart Pearce, but first, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. As the deal sheets are prepared and the sporting directors engage in their final conversations with the agents, The shortest transfer of the weekend will be the 30-minute picturesque walk or 15-minute bus ride from the cottage to the bridge that the Fulham fans have to do to get here this afternoon. And what a day to do it, by the way. The torrential rain of yesterday that knocked out satellite pictures and spoiled barbecue plans has been replaced by beautiful sunshine over the most of London. Not that we can see that right now because of the pyrotechnics, leaving a haze of white smoke billowing over the playing surface and a sulphuric smell getting right up Stuart Pearce's nose. It is not all good though. Not if you're Fulham. The short trip might be nice and picturesque, but the short day usually doesn't work for you. The Cottagers have lost their last 4 Premier League games to kick off at 12:30 on a Saturday, and worse still, they haven't scored in any of them. Fulham have never won back-to-back games at Stamford Bridge, and whilst Chelsea have been adding to their squad left, right and centre, Fulham have picked up a backup goalie and sold one of their number 10s. Despite all that, they didn't lose to Liverpool last year. They troubled Arsenal twice. They beat Newcastle away. They've drawn with Manchester United after going a goal down, and they won here on their last visit in dramatic fashion. They love to test themselves against the big boys, Stuart Pearce, and they often perform at their best when they're playing the best, Fulham.
Yeah, they do. Listen, they're an extremely well-coached side, very well organised, and when you're that way inclined, you've got every opportunity of causing a problem to anybody. They'll really relish, I think, coming here against Chelsea today. You know, it's the big money neighbours, isn't it? And you're the underdogs. It's brilliant.
Well, 2 teams are out in the centre circle. Blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks for Chelsea, captained today by Enzo Fernandez. Fulham have come here all in white today, shooting from left to right in the first half will be the plan. Chelsea like to shoot towards the Matthew Harding end in the second half of games. Chelsea start with Sanchez in goal. The back 4 is Malagusto, Chalobah, Tosin and Cucurella, Caicedo and Fernandez in the middle of the park. Esteval, Jean-Pedro and Neto behind Delap in attack. Now Fulham, this is going to be interesting, Stuart, isn't it, to see how they shape up, because you and I were watching the warm-up. Leno is the goalkeeper. The back 4 that we saw warming up together was Castagna, Tete, Anderson and Bassi, with Bassi at left back. Sessegnon looks as if he's gone over to the left back position. It may well be a back 3 for Fulham, as we saw at times during the game against Manchester United, with Castagna at right wing back. Lukic and Berger will play in the middle of the park. Iwobi and King will support Rodrigo Moniz in attack. Does look like a back 5 as they line up to take the kick-off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. And, you know, I would be surprised if Bassi is a left back in a 4. That is for sure. He's better suited playing as one of the central defenders. And for me, yeah, that's definitely going to be a 5, turning it into a 3 on occasion, I think.
When West London rivals Chelsea and Fulham meet, it usually ends in blue murder. But Fulham won this fixture last season, and there's always an edge to it. We're live at Stamford Bridge on TalkSport, the first commentary of the weekend, Saturday lunchtimes, Premier League. You know it's TalkSport. Sunday evening this week as well, we've got Aston Villa against Crystal Palace for you, 7 o'clock kickoff. We're round the grounds with Adrian today at 2:30, and we're round the grounds tomorrow 1:30, game day live, keeping you up to date with all the big events in the sporting universe. Away to our right, Chelsea have the ball on the edge of their penalty area. It's picked up by Cucurella, and then Enzo Fernandez guides it all the way back.
Hey, Novak Djokovic. I'm so happy. TalkSport 2. Live international football. What a goal! Get in the ring. Go the distance. TalkSport 2.
And Fury's got it. A unanimous decision.
If you can kick it, hit it, goal it. Pass it. Pass it. Pass it. Or catch it. That's me. You'll find it right here on TalkSport 2. The prodigal son of all radio stations is on the air.
Can they make it 2?
TalkSport 2, because sport never stops. We're sorry, this commentary is not available in your country. Please visit talksport.com/commentaries to hear an alternative stream or listen to TalkSport 2 for even more live sport.
TalkSport has so much sport, we're running out of radio to play it.
In fact, we've got enough rugby, cricket, horse racing, boxing, motor racing and golf for an entire other radio station.
And the thrilling games continue.
The prodigal son of all radio stations is on the air. TalkSport 2, because sport never stops.
There ain't no stopping it now.
Get set for more live sport, more incisive pundit comment and opinion, and more Andrew McKenna.
Thank you very much. That'll do.
Sport radio that hits you for 6. TalkSport 2.
Oh, that's what Barney is. He's played it back one of the stumps.
Tackling live Super League action. Strong and hard and brave and still.
Live commentary of the UEFA Champions League.
Champions of Europe again.
Live FIFA Premiership Rugby.
They must surely score.
Golf coverage that's perfectly pitched.
We're not allowed to cry on radio. We're supposed to be tough.
Serving up live ATP Masters Series tennis.
And Andy Murray, with his head in his hands, goes to congratulate Novak Djokovic.
I'm so happy. TalkSport 2. Live international football.
What a goal!
Game big. Go the distance. TalkSport 2.
Has Fury's got it? A unanimous decision.
If you can kick it, hit it. Goal it.
Cross it.
Pass it. Pass it. Catch it.
That's me. You'll find it right here on TalkSport 2.
The prodigal son of all radio stations is on the air.
Can they make it too?
TalkSport 2, because sport never stops.
Tessino, it's Burge and Lukic in the midfield. It will be King and Castagne all behind Rodrigo Muniz. Kukurea getting the game back underway. We're going to expect to see that in this game. We'll sort of those challenges flying in. It's not a derby that gets spoken quite a lot like the Liverpool, Man Uniteds of the world and the Sunderlands and Newcastles, but there's definitely a bit of feistiness to it so far.
Of course, yeah. I mean, many seasons gone by, these teams aren't really playing for the same outcome. Chelsea always fighting for the title. Fulham, if they are in the Premier League, are either fighting to stay above the relegation zone or maybe going for a rare European push. They're not really on the same level, which is maybe why there isn't that same level of sort of fame regarding the derby. But there's still definitely animosity between these two sides. Obviously, they're the local rivals in London, and there's always going to be that added element of spice to this fixture.
Yeah, there certainly is always a drama to it. And we have to look back to the game at Stamford Bridge last year when Fulham stole it in the 95th minute. Rodrigo Muniz scoring the goal on that occasion to earn the bragging rights. I'm sure Chelsea will be looking for revenge in this one, though. And pressing high at the moment, Fernandes might challenge Leno for that one. He slides in as well, just about gets away with it. He finds Burge to his left, but this is good pressing from Chelsea. They've won it back. It's with João Pedro goes for the strike. It's the first real effort of the game. Brazilian getting sight of goal from outside the box, left-footed shot. In the end, Leno down to his left to save it.
Yeah, he's oozing confidence at the moment, João Pedro, with how he started the season with the Blues. The moment he picks that up, he's not going to be looking for a teammate. He wants to try and unleash a drive from the edge of the area. Maybe doesn't catch it as sweetly as he would like. It's sort of a P-roller, a daisy cutter, you would also argue, across the floor. Relatively comfortable save for Bernardo, but it was still a save that had to be made because it was on target.
Yeah, it certainly was. There's Kukurea now looking to keep this going on for Chelsea. First sight of goal for them coming just after the 4.5 minute mark. Still goalless at Stamford Bridge. Of course, this is the only Premier League fixture taking place at the moment. It's the 3 o'clock games. That's Man United against Burnley, Sunderland against Brentford, Tottenham taking on Bournemouth, Wolves versus Everton, and then there's the 5:30 kick-off coming from West Yorkshire at Ellen Road as Leeds take on Newcastle in that one. Plenty of games going on in the EPL as well. It's Kukurea now finds the lap inside the penalty area, goes for the curling effort in the way. It's Burge once more. Chelsea starting to purr a little bit now, just past the 5-minute mark. They've got themselves the first corner of the game.
Yeah, first corner. It was opened up quite favourably for Liam Delap. It was a lovely reverse pass by Kukurea to find him. It was a good amount of space. Caught it sweetly in terms of power. Maybe should have tried to go for a bit more of a curling effort. He's gone for a drive that's straight into the chest of Sander Berge, and it deflects out for a corner, which is taken quickly.
Yeah, it is. It's taken short. Fernandes now will pass it across. It's Caicedo on the edge of the area. It's heavy. So Stillmount keeps it in play as he smashes it down to Kukurea. Too much power in it, though, in the end, and it goes all the way out for a throw-in. The game's taking place in the Championship. It's a few out of 12 ones. There's Middlesbrough against Sheffield United, QPR against Charlton, Stoke and West Brom. That's all remaining goalless, though, after the opening 7 minutes or so. Cardiff taking on Plymouth, and Doncaster against Rotherham in League 1, Barrow against Fleetwood, Crewe versus Swindon in League 2. Still awaiting the first goals of the day though. Just been shown shots now as well of Cole Palmer. He's not passed as fit enough to start in this game, but you were mentioning about João Pedro and Liam Delap and the amount of depth that Chelsea have gotten. It's quite a compliment to Pedro when you can sort of take Cole Palmer out of the team and not feel his impact really missing at all. He's not started the season great, obviously, hasn't got his first goal yet, but that's a massive credit to Pedro. I'll just break off because Fulham have won the ball back high up the pitch. It's Castagna now into the penalty area, pulls it back now, and there's the curling effort as well. Well, it was Anderson, the centre-back, who found himself in the opposition penalty area. It was a bit of an overload there from Fulham, just couldn't keep his composure one bit.
It literally just falls to the wrong man in the right place. It's a really promising chance. Lovely play by Joachim Anderson to break in between a couple of Chelsea players. They had a man over. Should Castagna put the ball into the box? I'd probably say actually makes the right decision, because Sessegnon, Muniz, and I think another Fulham man just commits their runs too early and are offside. So he has to cut it back for Joachim Anderson. And well, it's a real defender's shot. Gets right underneath it. Doesn't get any curl on the effort either. Then it goes comfortably wide of Sanchez's right-hand post. Should have done a lot better. Really promising chance that for the Cottagers.
Yeah, it certainly was. You're thinking if that's Rodrigo Muniz who's taking that on his left foot as well, then it's ending up in the back of the net, or it's at least forcing a very good save out of Robert Sanchez. As it stands though, after 7.5 minutes, it is still goalless at Stamford Bridge. It's been shown shots now as well of Andre Garnacho, obviously just signed for Chelsea from Man United for about £40 million. So Chelsea once again adding to the ridiculous amount of depth they've got in attack. They're also looking at signing Facundo Buonanotte from Brighton on loan. Just shows you talent that they're going for. They're really stacking up the squad. It's almost hard to find a place in though for Garnacho, you think?
It is ridiculous how big a Chelsea squad is, because I still think they've got a load of players in sort of their loan squad. They're still yet to have actually made their way out of the club. So where they are going to fit, and in terms of registering all the players, you wonder who's going to be the men that are going.
Eccoti lì, quello che rigore è? Ma replay dopo replay, il rigore inesorabilmente c'era. E guardati mentre dicevi gli voleva dar cucchiaio. Anche se è evidente che non era un tiro ma un cross sbagliato. Ah, e quello? Pensavamo noi. Nonostante 90 minuti con un solo tiro in porta. A te, che del calcio vuoi vedere solo quello che vuoi vedere? DAZN dedica My Club Pass. Guarda tutte le partite di Serie A e di live solo della tua squadra a €29,99 al mese.
Qual è il segreto dello sport? Mi son detta, è la forza. E se fosse la precisione? Può darsi che sia la velocità. Ci ho pensato e ripensato, poi ho capito. È nella forza, nella precisione, è nella velocità. Il segreto dello sport è l'energia.
With his first real touches, takes him inside, tries to slip it through as well for Gusto, who's making the overlapping run, maybe on different wavelengths at the end of the Sessegnon. Got back to cover the Brazilian. Cucurella now picking it up just past the halfway line, gives it to Fernandez, who's just going to roam into the middle a little bit, and towards Chalobah. Now Gusto on the right once more. Not making a run, but he's not found in the end as Bassett covers him off. Ball just at the back again. With Chelsea, we've finally got our first goal of the afternoon though, and of the day, the English football pyramid. QPR made it 1-0 against Charlton in that game. It's Smith with the goal. It's João Pedro floats it over. Really lovely ball to Gusto, who's inside the penalty area now. Esteban looking for the space to get it on his left foot. Gusto cross towards the back post, looking for Pedro Neto. It's a little bit of it in the end. Good football from Chelsea. Doesn't yield in a real chance, but some more possession outside the box for them.
Yeah, they're getting more and more of the ball now, Chelsea, sort of keeping Fulham pegged inside their own defensive third for the vast majority. But they're struggling to create that clear-cut chance to really test Bernd Leno in the Fulham goal. They're sitting very deeply, are the visitors. They're not allowing the gaps to exploit, and well, they're basically nullifying the effect of Liam Delap at the moment. It's almost 10v11 because that former Ipswich Town man just can't seem to get himself involved.
No, he certainly can't at the moment. That's good strength for the shot by Sander Berge. Caicedo goes for a great sliding tackle. Rob Jones is happy with it, and Chelsea gain possession of the ball just by the halfway line. They don't go forward with it though on this occasion. It's a little bit too packed around that area. Lots of white shirts rolling around. Do the smart thing and just shift it out towards the left with Kukurea. It's pounced upon though by Lukic. Just with the ball in Chelsea. And at the back once more. Gusto over towards Esteban, Chalobah. So again, Chelsea just starting to get themselves in the ascendancy a little bit more. That's what Fulham are going to try and do. Maybe play the break a bit more. That's a good ball down the channel towards Delap. We just can't bring it under control. Looks like he might have an issue there as well. He was trying to get on the end of a long pass. It was a good ball. He sort of missed it. You can feel it out, sort of holding his hamstring. That a bit quite a disaster for Chelsea. You feel if Delap has to go off already.
Yeah, the moment he stretched for that and didn't get it, he pulled up and hobbled a bit. I'm not sure if it's a full pull on the hamstring, but it's something that has to be looked at very, very carefully, because if he's unable to continue, you need to get him off ASAP, otherwise you're going to be making it much, much worse.
Yeah, certainly will be as Fulham try the ball forward. Sanchez comes to collect it. They have got quite a few decent options on the bench. Chelsea, it looks like Delap's going to need treatment as well. He's now on the floor, so the game's going to be stopped. The bench though for this afternoon: Jorgensen on the bench, Akimpong, Fofana, James, Hato, Hugo, Santos, Gittins, Tyreek George as well. Fulham substitutes look like this. It's Lecomte, who's the backup goalkeeper. It's Schwencher, Robinson, Reed, Kearney, Wilson, Smith-Rowe, Traore and Jimenez as well. Just a bit of a replay of that one for Delap. He just sort of pulls up, doesn't he? There's no contact with any other player. Those are always the sort of worrying injuries, aren't they? When there's no other player involved, it's not an impact injury. He just pulls up and you really are fearing for him.
Yeah, he's getting some physio work at the moment and he's shaking his head. It looks like he's not going to be able to continue. There is a man getting stripped and ready for Chelsea. It looks like it's going to be the young academy product, Tyreek George, who is going to enter the field of play. Whether or not that's going to be a like-for-like sub and he will go as the focal striker, I'm not too sure. It might be more worthwhile to maybe move João Pedro into that striking position, but only time will tell in terms of what they're going to have to do. But it's a big, big loss here for the Blues.
Yeah, certainly has. Delap pretty distraught as he makes his way off the pitch and down the tunnel. So it's going to be Tyreek George coming on in place of him in just a moment. It's not a bad backup to him, I guess, being able to move João Pedro into the 9th position. It's definitely not one that Enzo Maresca would have been anticipating this early on in the game. So the first change having to be made just past the 13.5-minute mark. So Liam Delap replaced by Tyreek George. Still goalless at Stamford Bridge. Quite a few early chances in the game for both sides, but any of note in the last couple of moments, so we're hoping that can spark up once more. Just a confirmation from the subs board. Looks like West Brom have gone in the lead away to Stoke City in that game. A bit of a rivalry between those two Midland sides. Stoke have started the season brilliantly in the Championship. Looks like they're going to be pegged back in this game. So they're going 1-0 down to the Baggies. It's Nat Phillips who's got the opening goal in that one at the Bet365 Stadium. We're back underway though at Stamford Bridge with Sanchez small now going towards Danbioyo and then Kukurea towards his left. Lukic thought about giving chase to it, however doesn't do so in the end. Danbioyo goes direct this time, looking for the crossfield ball. Will eventually maybe make it its way through to Gus. It doesn't. Sessegnon gathers himself before he can't keep the ball in. He drives forward. Chelsea getting the game back underway quickly. Pedro's still sort of in that midfield role as it stands, trying to work his way through and make some progress. Field, he will be in the way of him, but it's fallen to Gusto, and now eventually Chalobah again. Kukurea, as always, is the furthest man out wide on the left. Danbioyo going for that crossfield ball once again with his left foot. This time he looks for Gusto, gets way too much loft on it, goes out for a throw-in. Gusto just acknowledging his centre-back teammate though. Now with Calvin Bassey in some more possession for Fulham. Leno, that's a poor pass though. It will just about be kept in by Tete. Puts the ball downfield, well by Muniz, who's come deep for it. Can only head it on though towards Caicedo, and a bit of a head tennis game ensues in the middle. Kukurea back towards Danbioyo. Well, mentioning as well about the sort of youth in this Chelsea side. A lot of experience for the amount of games that they've played. Chalobah and Danbioyo still 27, 26 now. Just break off though as Fulham up towards the penalty area. It's King who's found himself in possession. He's just shown the other way though for a moment by Caicedo. That towards Bassey who's moved up to join the attack. No shots really coming from it in the end as Fulham have to retreat. Sessegnon, now Anderson once more in the middle. Just looking at the graph there. Chelsea, very good in London derbies. Was top of the points table in that one, 26th taken in recent times. But King is surely brought down there just on the right hand side. Fulham looking for the quick set piece. Cucurella is standing in the way of it. So it's going to be the cross into the box maybe. Chance for Fulham at the set piece.
Yeah, opportunity maybe to get some of the bigger boys forward. They've got a lot of physicality and height to aim for from these set-piece opportunities. The likes of Sander Berge, Joachim Andersen, Calvin Bassey, they're going to be throwing their bodies around. It needs a good delivery. It looks like it might be Sasa Lukic or maybe even Josh King that will try and whip this ball into the box, but they need to beat that first man and try and cause some issues for Robert Sanchez, who hasn't really been called into action as of yet.
No, it really hasn't. He's had quite a lot of touches at the back, just in possession, passing it around with his defensive teammates. He's not been forced into a serve yet. That biggest chance of the game for Fulham so far coming from Joachim Andersen, just inside the box, curling wide. Is it going to be the right foot now of Lukic? Yes it is. Sessegnon leads it to him. It's a really poor delivery though, doesn't even make it into the box before Cucurella heads it away. It's back up though now for Fulham. It's Muniz challenging for it. Ruben takes it down nicely. His pass is blocked, so it will be picked up by Andersen. Back with Castagna at the back, and Bassett takes charge. He's on the right side at the moment, though. Maybe his unfamiliar right foot. You can see that as well. He has to use his left to go back towards Leno before Fulham. They should just settle themselves once more with Leno. Andersen again, a little bit on the far left hand side. Andersen back inside the penalty area. Chelsea just sort of holding off on the press at the moment. Just looking at what the sort of formation is now as well. It does look like Tyreek George is one of the furthest men forward. Esteban is also supporting him as a bit of a striking option as well. He's still staying on that right side for the most part. So they are going to keep Jean Pedro in the 10. It's George now for his first touch, bit of a heavy one in the middle. Lukic does win the ball back for Fulham. It's been a bit scrappy though as it stands. 18 minutes, we've sort of died down with the chances. Game's just sort of descended into a little bit of a lull. No one really getting inside the penalty boxes at the moment.
No one can really take the game by the scruff of the neck. It's been very bitty. Neither side able to get that clear-cut opportunity. The passing's gone astray. It's been a lot of intensity, a lot of aggression from both sides. It just won't really fall kindly for either side. There's maybe an opportunity here for Iwobi. He goes to goal for about 30 yards, but no one really troubling Robert Sanchez wide on the right-hand side of his goal, but at least it's a shot to talk about.
Yeah, it's an actual event in the game. It's Iwobi who's trying to, almost looks like with the shot that he's going for, that he's trying to place it in the far corner of the former Everton man. Instead it goes towards the near post. He doesn't connect on it really correctly at all. Michael Silva applauds the thinking. Does open up though for Fulham once again when they win that ball high up the pitch. So that leaves Chelsea a little bit exposed. That's happened a couple of times now in the game, and Chelsea yet to be really punished for it. Just have to be careful with it as the therapy Oyo sort of takes a bit too much time, almost loses out. Chelsea do keep the ball momentarily as it goes back towards Sanchez. He tries to find Gusto with a first time pass out towards the right, where it loops over his head and out for a Fulham throw in, just about halfway inside the half. Bassett takes charge, finds Iwobi now, he's got space to drive into it once more, ball through the middle, finds Muniz who's got his back to goal, just trying to hold the ball up as Iwobi comes to support. It's good work from João Pedro though, showing his defensive sort of ability there, dropping deep and winning the ball off Fulham, then drawing the foul in as well, just relieves the pressure for Chelsea. Free kick is quickly taken by Enzo Fernandez, on towards Gusto just past the halfway line, just past the 20-minute mark in this game, still goalless between Chelsea and Fulham in this West London derby. Esteban towards Darabioyo once more. Once again, it's the centre-backs who are having those touches of the ball so far. Gusto also getting involved. Chelsea opting to go down the right more than left at the moment. Although as I say that, Cucurella does pick the ball up. Fernandez running it wide towards Pedro Neto, who struggled to get involved so far. He's got some touches now. Step over, takes him to the right, finds Tyreek George. It's a bit heavy though. Fulham win it back, they might want to get the counter-attack here as Muniz does well to hold it up, and Burgess sent Josh King through now, big chance for Fulham, Josh King bearing down on goal, into the penalty box, and Darabioyo back, King goes for the shot and he scores as well. What a moment for Josh King, the 18-year-old scores his first goal in the Premier League for Fulham. What a moment that is, what an attack from Fulham, coming out of absolutely nowhere. It's Chelsea 0, Fulham 1.
What a real smash and grab that is by the Costias. Fantastic finish by the youngster Josh King, and it's come from a wonderful ball by Sander Berge. It looked like the attack was over when Rodrigo Muniz was unable to find King at first. It fell to the big Norwegian, and he's threaded a perfect ball into King. His first touch is good, and you've also got to give some credit, at least initially, to Tosin Adarabioyo for Chelsea, because he tracks back really, really well, forces King to have to cut back in, but King remains composed and fires it low into the bottom right-hand corner. No chance for Robert Sanchez. Looks like Trevor Chalobah might be down for Chelsea. He did have his foot stood on. Maybe that'll get looked at by VAR, but as it stands, Fulham have the lead.
Yeah, they certainly do. What a moment that is for Josh King, the man born 2007, 18 years of age. No question about the offside, as King was in his own half by the time the ball was played, almost like he'd let the chance go at first. As Adarabioyo showed great pace to get back. King just cuts back in on his right. It's very similar to what's sort of like Mbappe finish when he goes for that near post. Sanchez maybe has Adarabioyo in the way, take nothing away from King though. It's a great finish. It's his first career senior professional goal. Great celebrations on the bench there for Marco Silva. So could be getting from bad to worse for Chelsea. Chalobah was down, just injured with that one. Not really confirmed if they're going to have a look at the VAR check just yet. Maresca on the sidelines, just looking bewildered by that one. Rob Jones is going to go towards the VAR screen, so looking likely it is going to be chalked off. It's quite gutted as well for Josh King. He just thought he'd scored his first career goal. It looks like VAR is going to be ruling it out.
I will understand why the AR would roll it out. I still think it's very, very harsh, because it is completely accidental, because he wins the ball first. He's trying to sort of play it with a back heel, and because the contact of Chalobah means he doesn't get the ball initially. Yes, he does then stand on his foot, but I think I don't think Chalobah's getting back in time in order to stop that attack and stop that goal. Him going down has no effect on the goal in my eyes, but it will go down as a foul most likely, and obviously it looks worse when it's slowed down, and I think the goal is going to get chalked off, and you have to feel for Fulham.
Yeah, you really do. They just thought they'd open the scoring against their biggest rivals, what they'll say. Rob Jones is having a really good look at it though. He's not made any indication of his decision just yet, still standing just by the VAR screen. Marco Silva's absolutely furious on the touchline as well, shaking his head in disapproval. It's the sort of tread down, isn't it, from Muniz? Although you could say he's in control of the ball at that point. Rob Jones has got to get the players in order, really. He's got to tell them to move away. He's going to just signal out for VAR. He'll explain to the crowd what the decision is and what it's for. It's more likely than not, it's going to be ruled out and we're back to goalless.
And waiting for Rob Jones to finish with the explanation. It looks like the goal has been chalked off, and Marco Silva is not a happy man, to say the least.
No, it certainly isn't. He's really giving the fourth official quite a heavy word at the moment. Absolutely devastating for King, though. Thought he'd scored his first goal, as I keep mentioning, but it's been ruled out for that foul by Rodrigo Muniz, so it's going to go back to goalless in this game. It does take us up to the halfway point of the first half as well. We've got our first major talking point of the Premier League weekend so far. That goal being chalked off. But as it stands, it is goalless, so it's going to be well to take you through to half time.
Thank you very much, Josh. We're getting another replay of that foul by Rodrigo Muniz. The more you look at it, the more accidental it looks, and there's not really much that Muniz could have done to get out of the way there. He'd committed to trying to do the skill. Chalobah, if anything, gets too tight, and his foot goes underneath the boot of Rodrigo Muniz. And of course, it's going to be a sore one for Trevor Chalobah. You have to feel for Fulham, and of course, for Josh King, we'll have to wait longer for his first Premier League goal. But it does remain goalless, though, in this West London derby between Chelsea and Fulham. In terms of the scorelines in the early kickoffs across the English Football League, in the Championship, it's goalless between Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. QPR are leading Charlton by a goal to nil thanks to Paul Smith's goal in the 8th minute. West Brom, as you mentioned earlier, Josh, they're leading by a goal to nil at Stoke thanks to Nathaniel Phillips. It's goalless between Cardiff and Plymouth. Doncaster taking the lead at home to Rotherham. That was only just moments ago. Owen Bailey getting the goal there. It's Crewe 0, Swindon 1 in League 2. Gavin Kilkenny getting the goal in the 8th minute. And Barrow 0, Fleetwood 0. However, Carnarvon was shown a straight red card for Barrow in the 10th minute, between they play the remainder of that fixture with 10 men. 26 minutes gone in our game at Stamford Bridge, as our opportunity pictures focuses in on some Fulham fans getting a little bit more vocal, a little bit more irate with that decision, as Tosin Adarabioyo, the former Fulham man, hooks the ball away, but we won back by Muniz. Now Josh King will have another opportunity.
Difetti nascosti e brutte sorprese quando compri un'auto usata? Adesso basta. Grazie ad AutoHero acquistare un'auto è finalmente facile. Ti mostriamo in modo trasparente ogni eventuale segno di usura e l'elenco delle manutenzioni. Finalmente acquistare un'auto diventa divertente. Trova ora la tua auto su AutoHero.
A week, in the end, finding a way past him. There's another injury down now as well. It's Rodrigo Muniz for Fulham, who's just down on the edge of the area. He's flat out on his back at the moment. Not sure what that one, how that one's come about, but already been quite a lot of stoppages in this game. You feel it's going to be a fair bit of added time, maybe.
Yeah, we've also had a relatively lengthy VAR check, a couple of injuries, of course, for Delap, for Chalobah, and now potentially for Rodrigo Muniz as well. That foul on Chalobah prior to the goal is being looked at more and more. Interesting to see what the pundits and the football world think of that decision. But it's definitely going to be one of, if not the most controversial decision in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, they're always the major talking points happening on VAR decisions. It feels like every week we've got a major talking point from not just one, maybe a couple of games. I'd imagine that's going to be the same again this weekend. You know, game week 1 we had that massive debate about whether Leeds United's penalty against Everton should have been given. That handball, James Tarkowski, caused quite a lot of debate. I'm sure this one now by Rodrigo Muniz is going to cause the same type of discussion. Obviously as well, I think it angers people when the decision takes so long to be looked at. It's not really a clear and obvious error, is it, from Rob Jones initially, and he's still not sure about it after looking at replays for nearly 2 minutes. Gives it in the end, and they always go to that VAR screen. They are always going to give the decision. We've just seen shots more off the crowd. There looks to be quite a few frustrated faces in that Fulham, and they were really hoping to get themselves in front in this one and maybe record another win at Stamford Bridge. As it stands, they still are looking the better side, I think, in the last sort of 5-10 minutes when the ball has been in play. There's been so many stoppages, though. We've not really had much action other than the goal and the shot from Josh King just a couple of moments ago.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of the past few minutes now. Rodrigo Muniz is back on to his feet and the game can continue. Just a quick look online in terms of the people's thoughts to that disallowed goal, and the vast majority seem to be in favour that the goal should have stood. There was a poor decision by VAR and the referee, so another one for the PGMOL to try and talk their way around. Here's Bern Leno towards Anderson. He's held up by João Pedro. Tete's ball isn't great, and Castagna's return pass cannons into Pedro Neto. They're going to play for a throw-in for Fulham. It should give Fulham the confidence now that they can find a way through this Chelsea backline. They just need to kick on and keep their shape and continue knocking on that door, and the chances will come. It's Tete. Puts it back towards Anderson. I mean, since coming onto the field of play, we've barely mentioned Tyreek George for Chelsea. He's yet again being sort of marshalled out as he tries to win it off of Calvin Bassey, who is unable to find a man in white, but does skip off the toe of Malagusto. It won't be another throw-in for Fulham. But yeah, that enforced change for Chelsea in the opening 10 minutes after Delap's injury just not really worked out for them.
No, it hasn't so far. George is struggling to be that focal point up front, isn't he, for Chelsea? Wouldn't be surprised if they maybe do a few switches around personnel and maybe put Pedro up front to provide that outlet a little bit better. But that's a lovely touch from Esteban. Now here is Pedro.
Ball into the box, comfortably gathered by Bern Leno, who bowls it out for Sasa Lukic, who will now try and drive forward for Fulham. Pedro Neto trying to track back and help his side. Lukic plays the crossfield pass looking for Sessegnon, who brings it down well. Opportunity here for Fulham. Sessegnon looks up. Can he put the ball into the box? Tries to get away from Gusto. The cross is here. And falls Rodrigo, and it is saved by Sanchez. I don't know how much the goalkeeper knew about it. The offside flag is up, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. But that's another really good opportunity for the Cottages.
Yeah, it certainly is. Rodrigo Muniz from that sort of range, it's not going to count anyway because he is in an offside position, of course. But you'd expect him to find the net from that sort of range. Just seeing a replay of it now, yeah, he does get ahead of Adarabioyo. Sort of heads length on him, but it's sort of at point blank range. There isn't that much to aim at really from that sort of angle. He gets it on his right foot, which is probably the right thing to do. Maybe try and open it up. Just found the target, forces the save from Sanchez. I think can be relieved to see the offside flag go because he has missed a fairly decent effort there. But yeah, once again, Fulham really in the ascendancy at the moment, looking the most likely to get the goal.
Yeah, Sasa Lukic has been judged to have fouled João Pedro, and he's down on the deck, and he's appealing he's been stamped on a couple of occasions. Cucurella is getting himself involved as well. Seems to be in a real spot of bother, holding his, or at least he's pointing to his forehead, saying that's where he was fouled. It's actually Sander Berge, so yeah, Sander Berge actually sort of accidentally kicks him in the head, and then Sasa Lukic stumbles and treads on João Pedro on a couple of occasions. But it is definitely a sore one, and Berge does catch him.
Yeah, Berge definitely has fouled Pedro there. His foot is way too high and goes into João Pedro's head. I don't think there's anything in that from Lukic. I think he just accidentally stands on him as he's sort of in the same area. Pedro's rolling about on the floor as well, so there's nothing Lukic can do about it. Yeah, already Rob Jones probably been the busiest man on the field so far. A lot for him to put in his report after the game, I'm sure. We've only played 32 minutes.
Yeah, still have another 13 of the mandatory 45 to go, plus however much is added on. Bastogis and Sander Berge again is adjudged to have fouled João Pedro, and the game is just getting a little bit feistier now. And I think Rob Jones might be in danger of letting the game get away from him.
Yeah, his players are just starting to get a bit more frustrated with him, aren't they? They're sort of appealing a lot more frustratingly, more animatingly whenever there's a decision that doesn't go their way. We saw the Fulham players there, about 3 of them had their arms up in the air for just a foul in the middle of the park, so you can see that tempers are starting to flare. It's a West London derby, of course, so we are expecting that, but I think Rob Jones just has to keep a level head. This one, keep the players under control. A lot for him to manage so far. I don't think he wants any other major talking points for the rest of the half, at least.
Yes, definitely. It looks like the major area where all the aggression and animosity lies looks to be between Sander Berge and João Pedro. They've had a number of collisions over the course of this first half. It's definitely a battle to keep your eye on over the course of this fixture. As Muniz's header doesn't find a Darabioyo. Pedro, has he been fouled by Sasa Lukic? He has, says Rob Jones. Sasa Lukic is holding his mouth and nose, maybe indicating that he's been caught in the face, but it doesn't matter. The decision has gone against him, so it will be an opportunity again for Chelsea. And the 50-50s are just beginning to fall in their favour. I mean, it was a cynical foul by Sasa Lukic going through the back of João Pedro, giving him a little bit of a dead leg as Pedro Neto tries to get away from Castagna. Flicks it back towards Cucurella. That's another late tackle by Sasa Lukic. Is that going to be a foul? It is. And Rob Jones is going to have a word with the Serbian, because Sasa Lukic now on more than one occasion is coming a little bit late to the party.
I'm surprised he's not been booked at this point, Sasa Lukic. He's really getting a bit too ahead of himself with some of these challenges, just going through them when the ball's not even really near the player. Rob Jones is just having a stern word with him. He's not going to get his card out yet. You can understand why. As soon as he gets the cards out, he sets a precedent, and then he's going to be booking players for every other foul. But Lukic still looks really frustrated at the moment, the Serbian. So yeah, definitely needs to just, I think, calm down in this one. Remember, there's a lot of football to be played. The worst thing he can do is get sent off when Fulham are still playing really well and looking the better of the two sides. I think getting sent off would be pretty much the worst thing he could do right now.
He cannot afford to go down to 10 men in a derby. Makes things so much more difficult, even in any game, not just a derby. It's enough to really put you up against it. As often you see the pictures focuses in on the Chelsea owner, Todd Bowley. Doesn't look overly happy with what he's seen from his side so far. As Esteval loses out, Sessegnon finds Iwobi, who forces it back towards Bernd Leno. 2 former Arsenal players combining. So they now play off towards Anderson. Tete, down the line for Castagna. Away from Cucurella. Muniz goes down as he won a foul. He has. Tosana Darabioyo adjudged to have brought down the Brazilian. Rob Jones once again telling the players to calm down and get on with it. There's another goal in the EPL to tell you about. Swindon have doubled their advantage away from home against Crewe. It's Paul Glatzel that has got the goal there for the visitors. As Anderson finds Leno, spreading it over towards the left-hand side for Bassi. Bassi has even fouled. He has. Esteval coming a little bit late to the party, where it's now incredibly stop-starty, this game.
Yeah, it's becoming really tough to watch, I think, from the neutral perspective. Every time there's a player who's going for a tackle, they're just leaving one on the other team. Rob Jones has been the person on the cameras the most that we've seen so far. He's sort of calling to action every minute or so. It's Bassi now who's just having to collect himself after being on the receiving end of that one. But yeah, it's really in danger of turning into one of those games, isn't it, where there's just a foul every few moments. We're going to have so much stoppage time, I think, at the end of the first half and the second as well. There's been that many fouls and just needless sort of stoppages in play. Yeah, I would like to see it sort of revert back to what we saw in the opening 10 minutes, where it was a lot more attacking and free-flowing.
Sander Berge is going to break forward here, and he finds support on the right-hand side into Timothy Castagna. He digs out across, it's dangerous, it's flicked away by Darby Yoyo. Will fall to Alex Iwobi on the edge on the far left-hand side, held up by Malagusto. Will try and take on the Frenchman, threads it in towards Sessegnon. Poor ball, though, by the former Tottenham man, picked up by Bassi, who calmly gets away from Enzo Fernandez. It's Iwobi on the left-hand side. Throws it in, looking for Sessegnon. That's going to be over here from Chalobah. Will shepherd that ball back towards Robert Sanchez, and the attack breaks down. But there was finally a little bit of promise in an attack from either side.
Yeah, there was finally a bit of football to watch, wasn't there, as Fulham went forward. Then I still maintain they look the more dangerous of the two sides when they actually are allowed to play football without a foul. And speaking of a foul, that's one from Caicedo. Now finally it goes into the book. Rob Jones, no hesitation about that one.
Very surprised at this Moises Caicedo that's been shown the first yellow card. Yes, he's normally not afraid to go into the referee's notebook, but he barely put a foot wrong in this game so far. That is his first foul that he's given away. And given the fact that Sasa Lukic has already given away 4, seems a little bit odd that it's Caicedo that's been shown the yellow card. But you probably have to say Rob Jones had to show a booking because he'd gone so long without one, and the game was turning into a bit of a foul fest.
Yeah, I think he had to do one just to sort of stamp some authority on the game. Lukic has definitely been testing his patience, I think, in the last few moments, and that one from Caicedo, though, it's quite, I think it is a yellow card challenge. It's sort of on the counter-attack, isn't it, as King gets away from him. If he does stay on his feet, he's able to attack for Fulham, and they might have a decent chance on, so it's no surprise Caicedo gets booked for that foul. But yeah, I just worry now for Rob Jones if he has to start brandishing cards at every other foul in the game.
There's Bassi, lifts the ball over the top, ball picked up by Gusto. Pedro loses out. Sessegnon down the line. Is that a foul on Josh King by a Chelsea man? No, there's not, as Gusto goes down. That's going to be a foul by Alex Iwobi. That's more clumsy, and they're coming together. Nothing malicious by the Nigerian. It will be a free kick either way for Chelsea. Chance for them to restart things. 38 minutes gone in this contest. You're listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. It is goalless between Chelsea and Fulham in the early kick-off of the Saturday Premier League fixtures. It's Castagna will try and battle with Pedro Neto. Does well to lay it in towards Fernandez. George turns, and he's been fouled quite clearly by Juan Anderson. That'll be a free kick and a really promising position to maybe get the ball into the box for Chelsea.
Yeah, it might be as well. It might be what they need in this game. That's a bit better from George, just using his physicality to hold it up from Anderson. Chance for Chelsea to finally get the ball in the Fulham penalty area. They haven't managed to do that since the opening minutes of the game, really. Ever since Liam Delap went off, he had that shot, of course, and then had to go off injured a couple of minutes afterwards. They've really lost that focal point in Delap. He's such a good sort of target man and someone to aim for going forward. George doesn't provide that near as much as him. So Chelsea, I think, have struggled for the majority of the first half since Delap went off. But this is a good chance now from the free kick.
A really promising opportunity from this free kick for Chelsea. Needs a good delivery. It's going to be Pedro Neto. That takes. It's not a great ball in. Looking for Trevor Chalobah making a run into the box, but can't be gathered by Bernd Leno, who bowls the ball out for Josh King, who of course had that early goal in the first half ruled out controversially. We'll try and bring forward a new counter. Iwobi back towards Sander Berge, turning away from Tyreek George. Joaquin Manson, that's a heavy touch, slides in, doesn't find a man in white. That's really poor play by the Fulham defender, and gives it straight back to Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal. Going further, Fleetwood have taken the lead finally away from home against Barrow. They've had an extra man for since the 10th minute of that game, and Ryan Braden has finally given the visitors the lead in that contest. No other goals to tell you about in the other early kickoffs in the top 4 English divisions. Darby Oyo finding Chalobah on the right hand side. Cucurella will try and skip away from Sessegnon. Now on the right hand side for Darby Oyo. Fernandez, ball over the top, looking for João Pedro, well headed up and away by Anderson, further on by Berge. Lukic will help it on its way, but it's picked up by Caicedo. Fernandez collides with Rodrigo Muniz. Adjudged to be coming together and nothing more by Rob Jones. Looks like Swindon have just gone 3-0 up now away from home against Crew, waiting on the confirmation of the goal scorer in that one, as Caicedo throws it in towards Pedro. Can't find Estevao. Berge goes back towards Leno, and Leno will hammer that ball away from danger. All the play for Chelsea going forward seems to be either in the middle or down the left-hand side. They've barely got Estevao involved.
Yeah, they've really struggled so far. The Chelsea fans will be wanting to see a lot more of Estevao. Really exciting play, was fantastic against West Ham last week, but we barely mentioned his name, have we, so far? Even Neto, you think, on that left side has not been able to create any real chances. Just saw that free kick opportunity from him a moment ago, and he delivered a pretty terrible cross into the box. So yeah, they've got to get Estevao involved a lot more in this game. João Pedro as well, who's doing a lot of work in the middle, but it's not the sort of work that he wants to be doing. It's sort of dirty challenges that he has to be making. He's scrapping away. So here comes Neto now down the left.
Neto, little step over, tries to dig out a cross, very well blocked by Timothy Castagna. There will be another corner kick for Chelsea on this near left-hand side. Enzo Fernandez will be the man that goes over to take it. Confirmed it was Aaron Drinan that got the third goal for Swindon at Crewe. Looks like Cardiff have taken the lead at home against Plymouth as well. Ryan Wintle getting a goal for the early league leaders in the third tier. Chelsea with a corner kick. It's Enzo Fernandez's delivery. It's dangerous. It's set it up. Has it gone into the back post? No, I thought it was going to dip kindly underneath the bar, but no, the effort by Tosin Adarabioyo just rises above it and nettles on the roof of the net.
Yeah, you'd think that would be a strong point of Chelsea now in this game, using the centre-backs at the set pieces. It's a good ball in from Fernandez at the near post, and Adarabioyo goes up with it. There's a lot of tall players in there as well. In fact, he doesn't even win the first header. It's Anderson, isn't it? It sort of comes off his left shoulder, cannons off of Adarabioyo. It just sort of loops too far over Leno and onto the top of the goal. We were relieved about that one. The German, I don't think there was anything he could have done about it, but Calvin Bassey's moving on quickly now.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a collision between himself and João Pedro, completely accidental, but I think maybe just caught his studs in the ground or jerked his knee some way, as Leno will hammer the ball forward, headed up by Adarabioyo. Go out and play for a throw-in for Fulham. Tete won't be able to take the throw-in yet, as there's a second ball on the field. Is eventually kicked away. Now Tete will find Anderson. Bassey to bring the ball further forward, held up by Estevao. Turns and finds the centre-back partner of Anderson, almost lost out to Tyreek George. Tete's clearance, lovely back heel by Rodrigo Iniz, and now Sasa Lucas will try and break forward, needs a bit of support. Lucas trying to thread it in, lovely interception by Chalobah, and then Caicedo wins the foul from Rodrigo Iniz, so it will be a free kick for Chelsea. Clever play by Caicedo, because he was really in no man's land.
Yeah, it really was. Just coming back to that touch though from Muniz, that's absolutely delightful from the Brazilian. Really love the touch, can see why he's been attracting quite a bit of interest elsewhere. Atalanta obviously were heavily in for him a few weeks ago. Never materialised though, that move, and looks to be starting as Fulham striker, but yeah, that's the sort of dirt we expect as well from Caicedo. Fantastic player in the midfield who does all the unknown stuff, or the unseen stuff, I should say. Here is Muniz now for Fulham.
Muniz trying to squirm it out towards the left-hand side, a vital interception by Chalobah, and now Estevao will try and break forward. No fan.
Eccoti lì, quello che rigore è? Ma replay dopo replay, il rigore inesorabilmente c'era. E guardati mentre dicevi gli voleva dar cucchiaio. Anche se è evidente che non era un tiro ma un cross sbagliato. Ah, e quello? Pensavamo noi. Nonostante 90 minuti con un solo tiro in porta. A te che del calcio vuoi vedere solo quello che vuoi vedere, DAZN dedica My Club Pass. Guarda tutte le partite di Serie A in live solo della tua squadra a €29,99 al mese.
Chissà quanto vale la nostra auto. Te lo dice, noi compriamo auto.it. Vendi la tua auto in modo facile e veloce. Inserisci i dettagli della tua auto e ottieni subito il prezzo di vendita. Wow! Per venderla, vai in una filiale. Niente sorprese. Ottieni subito un prezzo imbattibile su noicompriamoauto.it.
Now, Dania shepherded towards the byline. His clearance is poor though, picked up by João Pedro. His delivery to the box, headed up and away by Sessegnon. Brought down by Chalobah, turned away unconvincingly by Sander Berge. Neto's header will find Pedro. Looks like there's an offside flag, so the attack breaks down once again for Chelsea. Confirmed it's 2-0 now to Cardiff. At home to Plymouth. Chris Willock getting the second goal there for the Bluebirds. And looking at the ball into the box, I don't think there was an offside flag, or an offside player, I should say. The linesman was convinced enough. But Chelsea definitely ending this first half the stronger of the two.
Yeah, they certainly are. Fulham looked for a moment in time like they were all over Chelsea, and it was a moment in time before they would get that opening goal. Of course, Josh King did open the scoring for a moment before it was ruled out for that foul. But yeah, Chelsea, they've just got a grip on the game a bit more as Iwobi tries to float the ball up towards Muniz. Fulham maybe responding now.
It's Muniz that falls to Josh King. Can he get away from Malagusto? That's fantastic defending by the Frenchman. Had to get back and get a toe in, and King was just waiting for the ball to drop so he could hammer it towards goal. It just wouldn't fall for him.
Yeah, it certainly did. That's better from Fulham. You can see the quality there from Iwobi. Just a nice looping ball. King can't bring it under control enough to get the shot away. He's looking a massive threat though, isn't he, King? Wherever he picks the ball up, just on the edge of the area, and even inside the penalty area as well, you can see the quality, the confidence that he has. Just waits a little bit too long with that one. It's good from Gusto. Just times his tackle to perfection, because otherwise he'd been even giving away a penalty if he wasn't careful.
Tackle there by Anderson on Tyreek George to go out of play for a throw in for Chelsea on this near right hand side. Estevao getting more and more into the game for Chelsea after a prolonged spell of not being involved. Looking at the replay, looks like more of a coming together between Estevao and Sessegnon rather than a foul by the Brazilian. I think Rob Jones has got that decision spot on. A few confirmed half-time scores in the English Football League. It's half-time between Doncaster and Rotherham, the hosts leading by goals nil there. In the Championship, Stoke 0, West Brom 1 and QPR 1, Charlton 0 are both also confirmed half-time scores. There's still 2 games in League 2, 1 in League 1 and 1 in the Championship still being played alongside ours. I'd be surprised if any of them have the same amount of added on time as ours, as Swindon 3, Crewe 0 is another confirmed score at the interval. Sanchez towards the right-hand side for Chalobah.